Okay, I'd like to call to order this Thursday, December 2nd, 2021 meeting of the Springfield Historical Commission. In order to enable municipal government to continue its important work during the COVID-19 pandemic while assuring both city employees and citizens can satisfy CDC social distancing guidelines, City of Springfield is providing public notice that it will conduct a public hearing utilizing remote technology. Copies of said petitions, texts, and maps will be requested by email or phone. Email should be directed to the Office of Planning and Economic Development at AALLEN, that's A-Allen at springfieldcityhall.com, or by calling 413-787-6020 to view the public hearing. It's in the Focus Springfield Community TV website. Public comment will be taken in two segments. The first public comment period will take place prior to the meeting discussion. The second public comment period will take place after the meeting, will remain open for 24 hours. To provide for public comment in writing, mail Springfield Historic Commission, 70 Tapley Street, Springfield, Mass. 01104, or email AALLEN at springfieldcityhall.com. To provide for public comment by voicemail, 413-750-3223. Messages received will be played at the Historical Commission hearing or at the continued hearing date. All commenters should state their name, address, and company or organizational affiliation in addition to the items their comments pertain to. Voice messages received 24 hours before the hearing will be put into the record during the public hearing, and comments after the meeting will be entered at the continued date for the hearing. Voice messages are limited to 2 minutes. To request a reasonable accommodation or language services, please call 413-787-6020. Okay. So let's get right to what we have here. First on the agenda is 46 Randolph Street. It's an application for certificate of appropriateness, removing windows that have been previously replaced, installing new windows of the same specifications in their place. Okay, do I see? I think I did see the petitioner here. Bob, weren't you here? Oh, there he is up there in the left, moves around as people come pop in and out. Bob, has there been any changes to your plans since we had our last meeting? You might want, you got to unmute yourself.
I am the contractor that pulled the permit for Mr. Klupa, and there hasn't been any changes from that.
Hold on. Okay.
Larry, you online?
Any commissioners have any questions or?
Can you hear me now? Oh, okay. Now I'm unmuted.
Yeah, now you're unmuted, but that's okay. Patrick jumped in.
Yeah, nothing has changed.
Okay, nothing's changed.
Oh, I want to take the duct tape off.
Okay, I just want to quick go through some of the paperwork here. So just, I always make a note or two about, okay, all the windows are being replaced and you're keeping the same exterior grid pattern as what you told me in the last meeting.
Correct. Same exterior.
Right, exterior grids, what are the color? What's the color going to be?
Same color. The outside storm windows are the aluminum color. These are the inside windows.
Right, but you'll be removing the aluminum storm windows, won't you?
No, they're staying.
Oh, no, they're staying.
Yes.
Okay.
They've stayed we've been here over 25 years.
Okay, so you're just replacing what's behind them.
Right, and they're over 25 years old.
Okay, what color are they right now? I'm looking for their colors.
White.
They just look white. Okay. Any commissioners have any questions or comment for the petitioners for 46 Randolph Street? Alvin, was there any further public commentary on this?
Oh, there's no comments on this matter.
Or any commentary, I should say, at all? No questions. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 46 Randolph Street for installing the new windows of the same specifications that are in place now.
Move.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Sorry, I'm just looking again. Hearing none. Let me call the vote. Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes. Okay. Okay, you're all set.
Okay, thank you much, all of you.
Good
Okay,
luck.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a great night.
Next is 120 Clarendon Street. Mr. Gray or with us? No. It's an application of appropriateness to construct a 30 by 34 foot garage two-story addition to the rear. The petitioner's on with us?
I don't
Okay,
think the petitioner's on the call. I do want to add that we have not received any new information on this. I know at the last meeting, the commission asked of the petitioners to supply new information that would meet the zoning requirements of the city. As the current plans on file do not meet the zoning requirements.
okay. Okay, did you say they're not on the call with us? I don't see either of them here.
No, they're not on the call.
Okay, then I'd entertain a motion to deny the application for certificate of appropriateness, which allows them to refile when they present, proper documentation.
So moved.
I second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that? I think there should be a little bit. Just so the process we're going through is just that they didn't give us information. They're not on the call with us. This is a time-sensitive one. We run out of time if we don't take action, which will then allow them to do what they want, without our permission or without our approval, I should say. So given that, remember now in this case, sometimes it would be a motion to accept and I would vote to decline. In this case, the motion is to decline. So a yes vote will end this application and and then they can come refile an application when they have the proper documentation for us. So anyway, let me call the vote on this one. Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Al Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is a yes, and Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Okay, so that's been declined. And they can refile if they want. Okay, next is, this is 123, 125 Mulberry Street, an application for certificate of appropriateness to repair the glass in the front door to original, repair and repaint the front door to the original, replace 63 windows using techniques and materials to recreate original aesthetic, replace porch membrane roofing, repair sections of the main structure roofing, repoint chimney to the original condition. Okay, is the owner or contractor, is there any changes to this?
No changes, Commissioner. I'm William Brock with the City of Springfield Disaster Recovery Office. Jasper McCoy is the homeowner who's on the call as well.
Okay.
There have been no changes to the proposed work.
Okay, and this is,
I just want to make a point. I think the last meeting that we were on, the number of windows had changed.
well, I marked it to 63, is that correct? Could that be a good number? I wonder why I wrote that down.
Sit down.
Give me 1 second to just pull up those specs for you, Commissioner.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. Is it every window in the house being replaced?
Yes.
Okay. Getting a little concerto out there somewhere.
Yes, the Commissioner, the total by my count was 62 windows. I went around the entire house myself and counted those windows actually, so.
Okay, well, we were close last week then, our last meeting. Okay, any commissioners have any questions or comments for the petitioner? Well, then I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 123, 125 Mulberry Street to repair the glass front door to original, repair and repaint the front door to original condition, replace 63 windows using techniques and materials to recreate original aesthetic, replace the porch membrane roofing, replace and repair sectional main structure roofing, repoint the chimney to the original condition.
So moved.
Moved.
Okay, so second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion?
Just hold on one second.
Okay, was there any public commentary, Alvin?
No, not on this particular matter.
Okay. Okay, and hearing none, Commissioner Nardi, your vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes. Commissioner Walter Kroll?
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you're all set. You talked to Alvin. Next, let me see. Next is 47 Ridgewood, which is an application for certificate of appropriateness. City of Springfield Healthy Homes Program, proposed rehabilitation of the property, proposed to replace the majority of the windows of the property as well as many other exterior repairs. This one I have a number 89 windows.
Yes, I believe that was the one that I got correct, Commissioner. The other one, I think in the application, I put 33 and then I
You
went.
did, yeah, I crossed that out. Well, if it's every window, it's, and you're all set. So
Yeah.
you're using the same windows and the same.
Yes, we're proposing to use the same windows that have been previously approved by the Commission.
Now, this one had a couple other I think we had a couple other questions on this. Any commissioners have any questions on this application? Okay, because we touched base on the hatchway, the deck. I just want to scan through it one more time.
Sure.
And the trim is all going to be, let me just read it real quick. Okay. And again, I think I might have just asked us for no changes to this one.
No, no changes.
Echo going. Who is it? That you, David? You gotta mute yourself. Thank you. Their boxes, dining room deck, chimney caps, dormers, screen door, rubber roof. Yeah, a lot of details in this file.
Yeah, this is a very large project.
And no commissioners have any questions regarding? And there was no public commentary on this one.
Nope, no comments.
Is there, I think the questions were, because there were a lot of, there's a lot of construction and detail work. The bulkhead was on the side of the house, is that right?
The bulkhead is actually on the rear of the house. It's not visible from the street.
Right, so that excluded, we have to deal with that one. What about the dining room deck?
The dining room deck, sorry, let me bring up that portion of the specs real quick. Was that the left parlor rear deck that you're referring to, Mr. Kroll?
This is exterior rear left dining room deck.
So there exists so there's a front left parlor rear deck that we are excluding from our scope of work because it wasn't present in the original historic property. But there is a small rear deck off of the parlor right there that already exists, but it doesn't have any, there's missing floorboards in it. So we're proposing to redo the flooring to it.
Okay, any other questions for the petitioner? Okay, hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for. Is that Mr.? I can't read the names. There you go. Anyway, back to the application. I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 47 Ridgewood Terrace. The city of Springfield through its Healthy Homes program is proposing rehabilitation of the above property with the attached specific repairs and practices.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Commissioner Walsh votes yes. Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Al Nardi.
Yes.
Okay. You got your projects to do.
Thank you, commissioners.
Big one.
Just give me a sec here, get some paperwork. Okay. All right, next. 10 Cornell Street, which is an application for a certificate of appropriateness to installation of the solar system, which is the design, which is attached. I know we had questions, you know, in the rendering, you just have a big line in the big red box saying here's where everything's going. And I know we were looking for minimal visibility on that. And so if the contractor could just explain to us again what that's going to be.
Yep. My name is Mark. I'm with Trinity Solar.
There
It's
you
going to
are.
be another meter. We're also moving the regular meter for the house to the exterior. It's going to be the inverter and then an emergency shut off. So there'll be 3 additional things on the outside.
Now, is there anything being done to minimize the visibility from the public way?
It's being put around the corner. So I mean, that's the most that we could do, I think.
Okay.
With the direction of the power coming from the street and where it will go, where the breaker box will go inside the house. That's where it has to be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm thinking, are there height requirements or things like that that would make it more or less visible?
Yeah, no, we have to follow the code, so it does have to be a certain amount from the ground. So they all have to kind of be level.
Okay. Do they have a minimum? This is just because I've never asked the question of any of the solar people before. Is there relative to code? Is there a minimum height from the ground? There must be.
Yeah, I think that there is.
What is it? Just so I'll know for future.
Off the top of my head, I don't know it.
Because it must be like 3 feet or something. It's got to be a little bit up there. I'm just looking at it thinking, because, you know, the idea as you do these to more houses and you come before, you know, when you're laying them out, you'll know, I mean, I think you already know what we're after in general is the minimization of, you know, of the visibility.
Yep.
And, you know, some people just put those boxes right on the front of the house if they could. And, you know, that's not, you know, the idea is to minimize if it takes your eye away from the historic significance of the house, and that's what we're trying to not do. You know, someone looks at the house, it should be, hey, this is a beautiful historic home. And then, you know, if it's minimally visible, then they'll say, oh, I mean, they'll see the solar panels, but the stuff on the side. In the conduit, did we cover that is that going to be painted to
Yeah,
match
we're going to paint
blue?
the house.
in any of the conduit on the roof, is that going to be minimized?
Yeah, so we try to go underneath one of the panels, we'll go into the attic.
Okay, I thought you said that last time, but when you hear a few of these, they do blend together after a while.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, any commissioners have any other questions for the petitioner? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness 10 Cornell Street for the installation of the solar system as designed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion?
Commissioners, I would just add the caveat that the conduits be painted.
Yes.
So let the motion read that the conduit to be painted to match the house. Or the color that it's over. I don't know. It's blue. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Now,
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, the vote, Commissioner Kroll, Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Al Marty,
Yes.
Commissioner Vinnie Walsh is yes. Okay, you guys are good to go.
Thank you.
.45. Next is 245 St. James. This is an application for certificate of appropriateness to move the utility meter to the outside of the house per utility request. The relocation is tied to the recent approval.
That's right, we are here.
Yep, good. That's good. Just looking for our kind of rendering here, if there was one. Do we have the specific information on the low here? Here we go. Where it was going to end up?
Yeah, it's gonna end up on the south side of the house.
Relative to the street?
Can you just give your name for the record?
Oh, yeah, please.
My name is Jake Schneider. I'm with Earthlight. We're the contractor doing the install.
Okay, thank you.
So we already did the solar install. We got that approved with you guys.
Yeah.
And the meter was inside, and now Eversource is making us move the meter outside. So, they have all of their requirements. So we're kind of like trying to figure out how we comply with them, but then how we comply with you guys. They want it as close to the street as possible. They said that we don't have to put it on the front of the house. We can put it on the side of the house.
Okay.
So we met out there with Eversource, and we kind of have this location out, which would be on the southwest corner of the house.
It'll be about 10 feet behind the front of the house. And there's going to be, we already have plantings there, and we'll have plenty more plantings. I'm going to hide it myself.
So I'm looking through it. I only have one rendering of where the conduit might run down the house.
So we're not having any conduit running down the house. That's all.
You're right. This is from your
solar.
previous. This is from your previous application. But what I don't have, I don't see, and I'm just in. You said the southwest. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't have a map that gives me north, south, east, and west on it.
There should be a site plan on there.
Well, let me see. We got a lot of paper in this one, so
Yeah, Mr. Cabron, the southwest side, if you're on St. James and I look at your house, the southwest side is the right-hand side, correct?
Correct.
Right, which is where all the panels are going.
Yep.
And he's got, I think, plantings right at the street, and I think you got aprovites or something.
Okay, now I have it.
To that right-hand side already?
Okay, I did, it's in there. You were right, it was in there.
I can,
All right.
I have a picture.
We really are going to put a lot of plantings.
No, I just couldn't find, I didn't find it. I did find the paper that kind of pointed to where this was going to be located, so. The question's answered. I just, as you just heard me saying to the previous guy, and whenever you go to prepare installations of solar, just minimal visibility wherever be minimized to. So are there any other questions? Was there any public commentary, Alvin?
Not for this particular matter.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments from commissioners? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 245 St. James Avenue to move the utility meter to the outside of the house, the location as stated.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we call the vote. Commissioner Judith Crowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh is yes, and Commissioner Kroll, Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Okay, all right, you guys are good. Thank you for taking the time and just
Thank you,
keep in mind
folks.
when you design a few other systems, just keep it in mind, the minimum visibility.
Thanks, commissioners.
Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Good night.
All right. Next, 55 Bellevue. This application for certificate of appropriateness at 55 Bellevue Avenue. Proposed changes, replacing the existing old windows in the front side home with I can't read that. Two in the rear with Anderson wood-right inserts. Close.
Commissioner Walsh, we can have the petitioner explain what they're installing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of read it again. Go ahead.
It's the front, the sides, and two large windows in the rear on the second floor.
Oh, that says possibly. Okay, possibly.
Yeah.
Two in the rear.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna do it if I can.
And the windows.
Am I reading correctly? These are all wood windows?
Yes, they are. Most of them don't lock, with a lot of cracks. Some are broken,
Yeah.
hard to open.
And the new windows, let me just get there. Wood-right double hung, low E standard grills, are they exterior grills?
Yes.
Exterior grills.
Right, and they're good. What color are they going to be?
The existing are white. This is Bill from Kelly Fredette.
Hi,
Thank
Bill.
you for taking our petition.
Yeah.
There are other colors available, but the existing windows currently are painted white. So we have presented them as white with exterior grids in the grid patterns that are currently existing. Across the front of the facade, they are upper sash 12 rectangles and the lower sash just one vertical bar. Rather unusual, but we can do it to match.
Okay. Okay, any commissioners have any questions or comments? For either Bill or Brandy? No? Okay, then I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 55 Bellevue Avenue to replace the windows with the 400 series wood-right double hung with exterior grills matching the current grid pattern.
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? I have a little bit of discussion. What's the historically appropriate color for that era for that time frame? Were they likely to have been white, or possibly would they have been white, or is that like a more recent change?
I think because of the brick, it probably would have been a lighter color.
Yeah, okay. All right. Anybody else? Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, let me call the vote. Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Al Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh, yes, and Commissioner Walter Kroll.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yay, thank you so much.
So,
Thank you, commissioners.
Project.
all right, let's see. Okay, next is 8791 Central Street, application for certificate of hardship to a lot of paper with this one to strip the house and dispose of the old materials and change any non-structural wood needed to facilitate new siding, add new lifetime designer siding with custom form backer board, light blue wraparound Tyvek deluxe trim package. New louvered shutters will be a shade darker. Add new steps in the front porch with pressure treated wood. Install new railings in the style of. Now, some of this stuff we had discussed in the last meeting. Is the petitioner here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Ed Lynch from Contractor Direct Boost Construction. I'm sorry.
You know, I drove by and took as close a look as I could from the street. You know, the wood's not in terrible condition. I'm not quite sure why you would want to remove it.
Would you like me to answer it, or?
Sure, whoever, you can speak for her, Ed, that's okay. And I mean, I understand why somebody might want to, but in the historic function of the siding, this is not horrible compared to some we see.
Okay. There is a lot of wood that is structurally won't take paint, and after a year or two, it'll have to be painted again. So what we do to keep it in the exact look that it has is we strip it down to its original wood. We make sure that all of it is structurally sound, change any that is needed, put Tyvek down, put our insulated siding that I showed you, so it's one flat surface against it, and it keeps the structural integrity of the windows out and not in, so it doesn't look like siding. And plus I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, finish, please.
Hi, Stace.
Hi.
How are you?
Thanks.
And we use the built-in J channel, so there is no J channel around any of the windows or the doors or anything like that. And with the PVC coated aluminum, it keeps the structural integrity of the home and the historical look. Plus, we are not doing the soffit area and the decorative beams that are up there to keep the historical look on that also, just the body of the home.
And there is, I'm not sure if you were able to see, but the portion of the wood that is above the back porches above, there's a significant damage there. I'm not sure you were able to see that.
Yeah, I didn't go on the property.
But, yeah, obviously, but there's really, we've had to cover it, and it's definitely going to need replacing, stripping, lots of it.
Okay. This is one of you've provided us with one of the tougher decisions for a couple of different reasons. One, because historically properties don't have like vinyl siding, and they don't. In this one has the width of the exposure of each piece of wood is small, and what you're proposing is going to make it like triple. So it's going to take away that entire look of the property.
Can you?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Walsh. Can you speak
right
to that,
ahead,
please, Ed? Because I think one of the numbers I put in as far as the width of the actual siding might have been incorrect.
Well, what I'm looking at is the when I looked at the house, I was surprised at how short the exposure was. But now what's the difference if, I don't know what the exact number is.
1 inch.
Relative to the exposure now versus what the exposure is going to look like when you change it.
1 inch.
It's only 1 inch different.
Yes.
Well, I guess I should have.
Yeah, I definitely think I wrote an incorrect number there.
Yeah. I'm not worried about whether you wrote an incorrect number or not. In what material? You were just the material.
Our material is a composite titanium dioxide based siding. It's not calcium carbonate, and it is a composite.
Yeah.
So it's not a vinyl siding.
It is vinyl. It is vinyl, but it's not a calcium carbonate based product. It's not going to run or anything like that. It's something that will last forever and keep the same color forever. It won't in 5 years fade, so you have different colors around the house to make it look bad.
What's the product name?
It is called Prodigy.
Prodigy, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I mean, there's so many details. I'm not sure if any other commissioners got a chance to drive by. There's so many historic details in this house that.
And we're keeping 90% of those details. The only thing we're doing is the body of the home. The under the porches, we're keeping the wood. That's going to be restained and all that stuff. The new steps are going to be the way they were supposed to be, along with, we got pictures of the railings. The railings are going to match what it was.
Right. I know we kind of figured after the last meeting, I know you acknowledged that you weren't going to make those steps in pressure treated lumber.
Correct.
And, you know, the problem I'm having with this, Ed and Stacy, is that I haven't seen this material or this look in person. And it's hard to, we can't approve vinyl siding for a historic property. And I know, you know, you'll point out other properties in the historic districts that have vinyl siding. It's because they either got it before it was a district or they didn't tell us about it. And I appreciate that you at least are following this. But when I look at like this picture right here.
Yes. Yes,
it just doesn't look to me like it's going to be able to replicate what's there. You can replicate the color and you can come close, but you know, like it corners and the way the wood fits together and the way they fit around windows is not going to be the same. And because you showed us, I mean, I appreciate everything you showed us last time, because you showed us it's tucking in, even though it's not a separate J channel, it's fit into the.
That's why we stripped the home. So when you put the PVC coated aluminum, it's bent in, bent around, so it matches right up to the windows. If you didn't strip the home and you put the siding right on it, which are 3/4 of an inch to 1 1/4 inch insulation, then it would stick out and the windows would sink in. That's another reason why we stripped the home, so the windows still keep the structural integrity of being out and not in, if you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Yes, sir.
So the corner boards of the house, do they remain or you're stripping that as well?
They'll be stripped also. There'll be new corner posts put on.
Will they be the same size? They look like they're about 5 inches wide.
Yes, these are 5-inch corner posts and they're the same color.
Okay.
The window trim is 4 inches like it is now. And again, with the built-in J channel, it's built in, and then the inside piece goes in 3 inches. So there's no bug infestation. There's nothing like that. So that's why we do the built-in, especially in historical. We've done a lot of historical work. We put the built-in J channel. It's a lot more work, but it keeps the integrity of not looking like siding around the windows with that J channel.
I'm looking at the Prodigy details and I'm seeing what you're talking about. Okay.
It's the top of the line product. Yes, it's not. We're not trying to. Yeah.
No,
I think
we don't ever think.
I know.
I don't know if you all had discussion there in the last meeting about seeing the product up front and personal somehow.
I get invited everybody last one to go on to Boost Construction on Facebook and boostconstruction.com. It has our last 47 jobs with probably 25 different colors, patterns with different kinds of siding also. And we have places right in Springfield that you can go to see it.
Well, I was going to say, if there's a property in Springfield they could drive by, that might really help them a lot. Because I think it's very easy to imagine the old J channel and the old vinyl siding, but not able to imagine this product. So if there's some place that could be driven to see it in person,
Right.
That really might help.
Right. But he gave us a good demonstration the last meeting. He had some parts there that he was able to show.
Okay. All right. I missed that. Okay.
But that's part of the problem I'm having after I saw the house, because where this meets.
Yes, the face of it is further forward than the trim itself.
No, it's not that. That's, although I just wish I could see it more in person. But in general, there's a couple things I'm going to touch base on here. And one is that historic guidelines don't allow for vinyl siding, but composite, there's different kinds that are considered under different circumstances. And the hardship request. Here, hold on. I apologize for falling down here. I'm trying to consider all the sides to this here. So let me just. I thought I had it right here. The hardship establishing Springfield Historic District allows for inappropriate alterations to be considered when a property experiences conditions especially affecting the building or structures involved, but not affecting the historic district generally. An application for hardship may be granted if failure to approve an application will involve with a substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the applicant, whether such application may be approved without substantial detriment to the public welfare and without substantial derogation from the intent and purpose of the chapter. Following factors are considered to be generally prevalent in the district and not specific to the property, therefore don't qualify. Here's the hard list. There's energy efficiency, common maintenance, the age, convenience of replacement windows, conditions of sills and trims unrelated to the sassage, maximization of profit or investment. Of course, that's not this property, but other factors for review, conditions of each existing, this is mainly windows, a lot of these. Economic viability of the structure, financial situation of the petitioner, financial hardship is claimed, the financials of the proposal, including comparisons for the cost of more appropriate alternatives. Commission does not use the presence or inappropriate windows in a neighborhood to determine the merits of a proposal, which I just said. So it doesn't really fit under hardship.
Commissioner Walsh?
Yes, please.
I did submit a comparison with regard to stripping all that wood and replacing it. The comparison price is approximately 2/3 of what the vinyl siding is going to cost, and does not include the replacement of the shutters that are basically destroyed and need to get taken care of, in addition to the price of the steps and the replacement railing. So for me, it's a significant hardship to be able to try and do the stripping, which or the painting, which I'm going to have to do again fairly soon, based on how I've had to take care of this. And we've had some damage. We had significant damage from the tornado, which yes, the insurance did pay for, but there are some things that, as far as nicks and little things that really weren't taken care of. And I've been trying to get additional grant monies with regard to that, and that has not happened. So this for me is a financial hardship. And I did hear that as part of what you were reading.
Let me read it again.
On the street where she is also, the sun and the weather hits that side in the back where the wood just gets tremendous amounts of exposure to weather and deterioration and stuff like that. And I think that's what, and you could tell where it's been replaced before and it's still not adhering to paint and stuff like that.
Well, the law establishing Springfield Historic District allows for inappropriate alteration when considered when a property experiences conditions especially affecting the building or structure involved, but not affecting the historic district. So position in the, the sun or whatever affects whoever's in the district. The application for hardship may be granted if failure to prove an application will involve a substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, for the applicant, whether such application may be approved without substantial detriment to the public welfare. Following factors are not specific, therefore do qualify: energy efficiency, common maintenance issues, age, convenience of replacement, condition of sills, maximization of profit. Is this a multi-family? This is a multi-family, isn't it?
Pardon me?
Is it a multi-family?
It's a two-family, yes.
Oh, it's a two-family, okay.
But it's not for profit. Her mother lives
no,
on one side. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, families, I have family in the second unit.
Maximized. Well, I had a friend that used to live in that house, so I was thinking it was a four-family 4 years ago.
Well, he did have several individuals living in it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ed.
The energy efficiency you were talking about is this will provide a lot of energy efficiency because we are going to be tightening up the home, obviously, and the siding that we use is an R5. Any other siding out there is under R1. So this is going to tighten it up and really save her money also.
Right. Well, but the energy efficiency isn't considered part of the
hardship. That's why I didn't know if it was on which end it was. I apologize.
We all want it all to be energy efficient. So any other commissioners have any questions for the petitioner and the contractor for Ed?
So Commissioner Walsh, again, the commission would have to determine if a hardship is justified to render this decision.
Okay. I mean, by our guidelines, I actually don't see that a hardship has been met, not by what I'm seeing. So, like I said, these are the hardest ones that we do. I'm not, unfortunately, I'm not convinced that the look of the house will mimic. I mean, obviously, you're not changing the eaves and the things like that. There's a lot of decorative stuff up there. I'm not sure that the product
is everything that's decorative. We're not changing one decorative piece on that home. We're actually adding, when we put the lights back in, lights that were there from a long time ago. That took a long time to find, but I'm very surprised. It's going to look 10 times better, and it's going to look more like it was originally than it was now. And
so it's strictly material restrictions that we have, and it's well, other commissioners, please.
Commissioner Walsh, also in addition to the siding, there's also, I believe, the replacement of steps, wood steps, and the railing would be replaced.
Well, he's already acknowledged that would be
not
reproduced in the historical manner with the proper wood and stuff as opposed. So those are actually, we've already kind of.
So you may want to make a separate motion for those matters. If it falls under a different category, appropriateness or non-applicability.
Well, okay, so no other commissioners have any questions or comments on this? Okay, let's separate. Let me just read through this again.
I'll just, if I can just comment, I totally get where you're coming from, Ms. Morris, and Ed, I'm sure your projects look great. It's just hard for me to get my head around what it's going to look like. I looked at the website. I couldn't really find anything that was Victorian. I saw one building, one structure that kind of looked like it got redone. Everything looks better when you take something that's got peeling paint, you wrap it, you put all this stuff there. It looks fantastic. I'm having a hard time visualizing, what this house is going to look like completed. And I think that's what the struggle is, I lived in one, I've been around them for 25 years. I've redone several. I know what wood looks like and feels like. It's different with, when you say vinyl, it really kind of, it's hard to imagine what that house is going to kind of look like. But that's what I'm struggling with.
Okay, I'm looking now for the new steps in the front porch with pressure treated wood, install new railing in the style of 1939, photo attached. If we can separate these two, if the new steps are going to be built to replicate using the same material, the same size and design and material, and the new railing is going to be the same, to the railing, then we can separate those two. And I could entertain a motion that we accept the replacement of the front steps and the railings under non-applicability, if they're going to be the same material and shape and design and nothing's going to be changed. So
the homeowner would have to agree to that, right?
Yes. Well, they kind of did in the last meeting, so.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to separate it from the rest. Go ahead, Stacy.
I believe I already have a certificate for those because when I'd initially wanted to do the repairs to the house, I submitted for those steps already.
Okay, let's see if it's in here.
It's in a separate one. I guess if you have the file of our earlier submissions.
Yeah, they're usually in, not how far back was it? Well, it's easy enough anyways to just accept it as a non-applicability. So if somebody wants to make a motion that the steps being rebuilt with the same style with no changes in design or material, and the railing would be no change in design or material, that we could approve that under non-applicability.
But the railing would be a change, but it would be a change back to the 1939 photograph.
Oh.
Yeah, the railing's gonna go back, she said.
Oh, down to pipe railing, okay.
But the pipe rail could also fall under non-applicability.
Okay. So then the motion would have to be that the steps be rebuilt with no change in material or design, and that the pipe railing new pipe railing be installed in the style of 1939.
Excuse me, can I just ask a question? With regard to the railing?
Yes.
I know it's a pipe railing, but is stainless steel something that can be used to make that pipe?
Not usually. It would be black pipe.
Right. I don't mean okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if we get stainless steel.
Stainless steel is very expensive. You might consider galvanized steel and paint it.
Either way, well, now we're getting away from pipe rail.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. We'll go with the galvanized.
I don't even know if that galvanized, what would it normally be?
It's galvanized just so it won't rust. Then it's painted.
Yeah, but it's got to end up being black.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so those two, I would entertain a motion for allow the rebuilding of the steps with no change in design or material, and the recreation and replacement of the pipe rail with black pipe. Whatever.
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Al Nardi,
Yes.
and Commissioner Vinnie Walsh is yes. Okay, so are there any other, just because as I'm looking at it now, every other part of this is just related to stripping and doing vinyl side. And I'm looking at the numbers here. This, I'm just trying to see if there's some presentation that might make it appropriate. Any other, I think I'm going to move to a motion. Any other questions for the petitioners?
What would make it appropriate then? If you don't accept vinyl, then nothing in vinyl is going to make it appropriate. Is that correct?
Well, I'm always looking for something that if it would fit the, like an appropriate replacement. Vinyl in general doesn't. And part of my problem is still with the width of things. I mean, when you said composite, there are composite materials that mimic wood that we have allowed to be used in different structures and different construction.
When you drive by one of our homes that we've done, excuse me, when you look at the panel, it mimics wood. It's not a 12-foot panel, it's a 17-foot panel. So the seams are virtually a third of the seams that you would see in any other part. And that's why with the built-in J-channel fits in from one end to the other end. In between windows, there's never a break. So it mimics wood the best possible of all sidings. So, and again, like being 17 feet with the panel instead of 12 feet and being titanium dioxide based composite material instead of calcium carbonate, the expansion and contraction rates with it allow for it to never warp or anything, being so long.
Okay, any other?
Sorry.
No, that's okay. If you only knew. Any other comments or questions from commissioners?
Commissioner Walsh, I just want to clarify that the commission has approved vinyl in the past for properties, but only on properties that have siding that is either no longer produced or is hazardous, like asbestos siding,
yes,
or on structures that happen to be in the district, but however do not contribute to the district. Whereas, some places you may have a ranch house that just happens to be in the district that was, built,
right
to the creation district. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. So where does that put this?
Is her home right on the outskirts of the historical district, being way down there?
The property is located on the boundary, on sort of the outskirts of the boundary, yes.
Because I was told that it could go either way, being in the historical thing, right where her home is, because it goes up 2 streets, and that's when the real historical society starts. But it's on boundary, and that's why I'm still trying to go through the whole process of doing it.
Well, it's part of it's in more intangibles than that. Every house on that street is a historical property. All the row houses have been, they've been restored historically for a couple times over now. And it just leaves a few others up at that top before it gets to Maple Street. And then right at the top of Maple on the left side are the whole other set of row houses.
Correct.
Part of it is that it's hip deep in it, even though it's on the edge. It is clearly right in a tremendously historical corner, I'd say. So I don't know. I'm thinking a lot about it. That's all. Go ahead.
When the property owner did apply, I did let him know that, it would be an uphill battle trying to get vinyl because, typically you guys want to approve vinyl on, this sort of a structure. Right. However, I did try to steer him more towards a composite, like a hardy plank.
Right.
But,
that's not where we are. Okay.
Hardy plank would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $80,000. It's just, that would make more of a hardship for the young lady.
Okay. I mean, it didn't, to me, here's the truth of my site visit from the main road, is it didn't look like it was not serviceable by, scraping and painting and treating, properly preparing for a paint job. And it's funny because the side, well, I noticed the shutters were kind of incredible the way they were. They didn't look, but I didn't, when you got to sometimes see things up close to see the deterioration or not. But
the front of the home, when you drive by, is beautiful. The front of the home is pretty well preserved because it's under the porches. But if you're looking right in the front of the home, if you look to the right side, tremendous damage in the back, tremendous damage just on wood. And the ability for water, moisture, bugs and stuff like that to get in are something that you have to look into. But again,
and some of the shutters are replaced as a result of the tornado, but not all of them were. So there are several, at least I'm thinking half of them, that are not in the same shape as the side that you're seeing there.
Correct.
Okay. Any other? I'd entertain a motion to accept the application for a certificate of hardship at 87-91 Central Street for the replacement of, I'm trying to word this correctly, for the replacement, strip the house and replace with the Lifetime Designer Series I siding with custom form backer board in light blue. Color of the siding, Mystic Blue Premium Glacier White, and there's a trim color, wide corner posts in white, ornamental trim to remain in place. New louver shutters of the homes will be shaded darker than the siding, and we took care of the steps. Okay.
You start.
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second? Second?
Second.
Second, thank you. All right, let me call the vote on this. Commissioner Nardi?
No.
Commissioner Walsh? No. Commissioner Kroll?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Judith, yes. And Commissioner Walter Kroll?
No.
No. I know that was a long time to hash it out to not get it to pass, but it's I think that house has a lot of positives in what's sitting there already and can be properly repaired.
I thought that we were going to do a walk around. I mean, you said that you would call me so we could go walk around the house so you could see the damage, but I guess that wasn't.
No, I don't. Ed,
I'm just asking a question because I made myself.
I did go to the house. I didn't walk on the property. I went down. I looked at it. In fact, I almost got a ticket for parking on the right side of the street for a little while there, but but they grabbed somebody else instead of me. It's a beautiful house. It's a tough situation, and it's one of the hard things we do when we look at it, and that's the type of decision we feel we have to make.
Fair enough, understood.
And I don't even know, there's not always an answer from us. Sometimes I look at a house and I'd say, yeah, I wish we could do this, but we actually have guidelines. It's not what there's some leeway here and there, but what we personally might think someone should be able to do is not what we're doing. It's because we have
understood
guidelines and things like that. So I appreciate your patience and I also appreciate your frustration. And you do good work. It has nothing to do with the quality of work that you would do. It's never about that. Most of the people come before us do really good work when they do it, and that they can show it to us. But anyway, I apologize for taking so long to kind of hash this over because it wasn't easy, and I just had to think of it from every angle I could think of it from. But that part's been declined. The steps in the pipe rail you're okay to do.
Okay, thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Stacy.
Okay.
Okay, to move on to East Side Thompson Street, construct a new residential duplex. This is going to take a little while as well because I know we have public commentary. So this is an application for certificate of appropriateness at 3941 Thompson Street. Construct a new 2,500 square foot duplex. And they gave us, substantial information regarding them. So has there been any changes in that proposal? Anything that petitioner would like to update us on?
Not really. As far as the details on the material, we're still working with our supplier to get those details. But what we had proposed was, I showed you guys the detail as far as the outside look of the house last week.
So nothing's changed since we talked about that. Okay.
No.
All right. Alvin, what do we have for public commentary?
All right, give me just a moment. Let me pull all the comments up.
And let me, now, just hold on to the commentary for a second there.
Okay.
I just delete. Can you guys still hear me? Oh, okay, good. Thought I shut myself off. Go ahead, Alvin. How many, what have you received?
Okay, I have 4 letters. The first letter is from Mr. David Gaby. He states, Dear Commissioners, attached, please find a copy of the, I'm sorry. This is not for Thompson Street. All right, go back. Okay, this letter is from Mr. Stephen Gray. Dear Commission members, as you know, I have proposed to build a new structure within the historic district. Hold on, let me make sure. Mr. Stephen Gray on the line?
Yes. Yes.
Is this letter in response to Thompson Street or another?
Thompson Street.
David, you got to mute one or the other, whatever you got going there.
Okay, I just want to be clear. All right, so again, Mr. Stephen Gray, dear Commission members, as you know, I have proposed to build a new structure within the historic district, and neighbors are seeking to hold me to a high design standard. I do not mind this, and in fact, I appreciate their concerns. I want the structure I am proposing to be compatible with the historic context and to be an important improvement to the neighborhood. However, I am concerned that these standards are apparently not being applied equally in all parts of the neighborhood, despite the concerns that residents of the historic district have repeatedly expressed to the Commission and to other city officials over the years. I attended the Commission's meeting on the 18th of November, and it appeared to me that people were proposing to build a structure that is almost completely out of character with the area it would be built in. For some reason, this appeared to be acceptable to many people, most particularly the staff, who seemed to cite minor features that reference details on generic older houses, but did not talk about the scale of the house or the style. As a person who worked very hard at my own expense to restore a house on Lower Thompson Street, number 57 Thompson Street specifically, I am very much aware of the unique character of that section of the neighborhood. The proposed design does not include either the Second Empire or Italianate features that we all recognize as being typical of that area, and if built, would greatly damage the architectural character of the street. The two houses together would have a very serious impact. This should not be allowed. I urge the Commission to reject the proposed design and send it back to the proponent for revisions to the scale and details that would allow it to blend with and preserve the heritage of the area. In addition, even though the historic district lines were not drawn to include that parcel, I would urge the commission to work to persuade the builders to adapt the design of the house now under construction so that it would complement to architecture of the area. Mr. Stephen Gray.
Okay.
All right. Next letter is from Mr. Ishmael Ali. Greetings, Mr. Allen. Please find attached letter per the proposed duplex at 3941 Thompson Street. Please convey this to the commission. Okay, please. One moment.
Okay.
Okay, so greetings. We are a nonprofit organization working to promote equitable access to housing in Western Mass. The Springfield Historical Commission provides crucial oversight of our collective architectural heritage, and this often involves situations where some people's heritage is treated as being more important than other people's heritage. Therefore, we are taking an interest in and investigating issues before the commission and how they are being handled, including general concerns about the inclusion of some people in historic districts from which others are excluded, and apparent failures in oversight of the use of federal funds. These kinds of practices can constitute violations of people's civil rights and of, so, okay.
Keep going, read it all.
All right. Everyone should be treated equally under the law, and that should apply to preservation practices as well as rentals of apartments and other actions that impact on people's housing. However, in addition to our general concerns as of now, we are taking an interest in specific actions that may have an unequal impact, and we see the possibility of such an action in the proposed approval of the design for a new duplex on Lower Thompson Street. Therefore, rather than protesting or waiting for an inappropriate action and then filing a legal complaint locally or in federal court, we are expressing our opinions now so that you can take appropriate action. The local historic district regulations, it seems to us, should be managed so as to treat people equally in all sections of the district, and the commission should mandate the commission should mandate designs for houses or home improvements that are appropriate to the character of the area impacted by the proposed change. Unfortunately, it often seems like people in some areas are held to a very high standard while others are not held to such standards, and in fact are often allowed to do work which would be allowed elsewhere. Frequently, this inequality seems to have a definite racial dimension. This seemingly should not be allowed. If it has happened in the past, the commission should halt it right now. We are investigating whether it has happened and whether, if it has, proper actions are being taken now to ensure that it stops. On Thompson Street, we feel strongly that the standard should not be relaxed to allow construction of the house as proposed. Instead, the commission should treat the proponents as others have been treated in local districts, and they should be required to alter their plans so that they conform to the character of the area in which they propose to build. Lower Thompson Street, this means that unless they change their plans and propose a house of a height typical of that section of the neighborhood with a roof type, porch size, window sizes, and trim types typical of the original Thompson Street houses, their plan should not be approved. We will continue to investigate this and other instances of what appear to be unequal treatment, and we will appreciate any information you can share that sheds light on these issues. At the same time, we very much appreciate any efforts you can make to respond to these concerns and ensure that practices constituting structural racism are changed, and to ensure that all people working to maintain, improve, and construct homes in the historic district areas of Springfield are treated equally. Sincerely yours, Ishmael Ali.
Okay.
Okay, I have one more letter. One more.
Thank you.
Okay, so this letter is from Miss Jennifer Rao of 29 Ingersoll Grove, Springfield, Mass. To the Springfield Historical Commission, per the public comment period, I am writing to object to the proposed new duplex built on 3941 Thompson Street. As a resident of McKnight, this proposed project as presented by the applicant builder is in clear disregard to the neighborhood and its residents. Not only does the record show that the applicant was well aware of the neighborhood historical guidelines, but it is a builder's duty, and builder has constructive notice to know the local law applicable to construction just as much as the Massachusetts State Building Code. The evidence indicates that the builder is attempting to push this project through regardless of the law or the neighbors. In fact, at the November 18th meeting, the applicant testified that he made some quick changes to try to adapt his modern duplex to the historical requirements and wanted permission to just go ahead with his previously planned foundation. The applicant merely took his modern home and made a few trim changes to call it historical. There was no real architectural structural change to meet historic principles of design whatsoever, which is why it doesn't look at all architecturally correct. That is not acting in good faith. While I realize that the builder's point of view is that he is merely trying to reduce costs, he is hurting the neighborhood's finances in turn by attempting to build a substandard home, thus reducing the property values of all surrounding homes, and therefore in turn, city tax revenue. Not to mention the detriment to the historical aesthetic and landmark status of this national historic treasure of a neighborhood. Quite simply, this proposed home design is not in keeping with the surrounding homes, nor with the historic architectural design principles of the time, and should be denied. Our neighbor, David Gaby, has so generously offered to assist the applicant in designing an appropriate home to historical architectural standards. In addition, there are multiple historic examples of duplexes right here in our neighborhood, which he can reference to redesign his proposed project, such as 60 Thompson Street, the most appropriate reference for this lot, and 110 Florida Street. Not to mention other historic duplexes throughout the city and a wealth of online resources. When this neighborhood was built, the original developers, the McKnight brothers, required that each home built meet a standard of high quality and a threshold minimum of cost in order to ensure the quality of the neighborhood. I would be happy to provide the historical references for that if requested by the commission. In fact, a number of prominent local architects of the time designed for this neighborhood, including my home. This builder should be held to the historical standards as well. I hope this builder will now take the opportunity to build a duplex that will do justice to the neighborhood, its residents, and the history. And if he can't, he can always consider selling his lot since it is just business investment for him, not his home, unlike us residents. Respectfully, Ms. Jennifer Rao.
Okay, any more?
That's it.
That's it. All right, we're having fun tonight. Any commissioners have any questions or comments on the application to construct the new 2,500 square foot duplex as presented? What are we timing out on this one? This one goes till
Is this really deep? Is this like the previous woman? Is this right in the historical district? Is it on the outskirts, the parcel that we're talking about?
If I remember correctly, they had two lots. One of them wasn't in it and one of them is. This is the one that is in it.
So I got to add as well that half of the property passes through the historic district. Half of it does not.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we've been trying to accommodate everything as far as what's specified design, the list that was given to us. And I think we met every criteria possible on that list. So it's disappointing for me to hear the feedback that we're not trying to comply is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, Commissioner Kroll, it's on the peripheral, but it's also one of the main entryways into McKnight. This is my neighborhood.
Okay.
So it's from state coming in from Westminster. So while it is on the peripherally, it's also an entrance.
Okay. And the other parcel that's right next door is not part of the historic district.
Correct.
So the person who purchased this, they must have known that this was going to be an issue at some point. Clearly, you can't build one and, not make it coincide with the other.
So two-thirds of that is in the district.
Oh, I see. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Alvin.
So as a comment, when we applied for the permit to build, both the deputy building commissioner, he did not realize that the property that the historic district passed to the property, and I also did not realize that. So we were given permits to go ahead and build, not realizing that because of the cut, not realizing that property.
That's true, sir. But when this parcel was built, there were letters sent to the owner at the time that it was purchased. And I saw the email that Mr. Boone had sent. And so I know that notification was sent. And as a builder or developer, it's been said before, it is your responsibility to understand where that lot sits and whether it's in historic or not in historic.
Well, I acknowledge that, but obviously, if the deputy building commissioner of Springfield, Massachusetts, did not realize it, it's obviously was a mistake that was overlooked by myself as well as the city of Springfield.
Okay.
We got the permit to build.
Understood. And in the guidelines, building in a historic. When do you intend to start building?
As soon as possible.
Okay. Alvin, do I have in my file here any, I just don't see it. The historic, any building guidelines?
So Shannon Walsh of PVPC, our historic consultant, her and I, we sat down both with the contractor and the property owner. Previous to even speaking with the contractor and the property owner, we came up with some guidelines, just looking around the neighborhood. And again, maybe our guidelines may be missing some things, but we tried our best to come up with some sort of guidelines. Just looking, at the streetscape, the general streetscape of Thompson Street. So we gave our recommendations to both the contractor and the property owner. We sat down with them, had a meeting, and just gave them, our recommendations. They, took some of the recommendations, but they didn't take all. But I did, attach those recommendations to your packets, so they should be in there.
Okay, I have it. I didn't know if there was something, it's either some long-standing guidelines that were here prior to my participation, or something that pre-existed this.
No, unfortunately, we've not had guidelines for new construction. Something we most definitely should have. I've spoken with Shannon in regards to that, and we're going to try to, work with the commission to, come up with guidelines for each neighborhood for new construction.
Okay, I'm going to ask the petitioners something. If they would allow us to continue to the next meeting. It's not going to time out between now and the next meeting. just to allow me time to do a couple things, to research any local guidelines that I haven't seen yet, and possibly make, like a inquiry to the legal department about what we can do. And if I would ask that you, unless Attorney Chuchuk would like to jump in right now, I don't really have the question formulated for you.
Yeah.
I got to think about this.
Little time to do some research at least.
Yeah, at some time, I'd rather do the research now than vote yes, no, or anything else, and then all of a sudden have another issue still hanging out there.
No, I agree that would make the most sense.
So, well, actually, we can continue with the vote of the commission. I'm simply asking the petitioners to accept that I'm going to ask for a motion to continue for the next meeting. So if I would entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of appropriateness for 3941 Thompson Street to the next meeting, which is going to be the 16th.
Yeah, so I also want to state that would be the last available meeting.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it go? Didn't this start on the
November?
Oh, yeah, it is. You're right. I get it. That's okay. But anyway, I'd accept and entertain a motion to continue this application for certificate of appropriateness to the December 16th meeting.
So moved.
For a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Okay, I'll take the vote. Commissioner Walsh is yes. Commissioner Nardi?
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll?
Yes.
And Commissioner Walter Kroll?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to continue this to the 16th because I need to get some information about the existing guidelines and possibly an opinion from the legal department. Okay, that's continued. We'll have to see you guys on the 16th.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's move right to the very, very patient people who are always the patient people. And these are new public hearings, and if you haven't been here or done this before, there is no vote taken because we allow for public commentary. So you simply tell us what your application is about, and commissioners can ask questions, and we allow for public commentary, and the vote will be taken in the meeting on the 16th.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this is an application for a certificate of appropriateness of 92 Furglade, and they want to repair and rebuild the first floor porch to be a full open porch as was the original. Okay, is the petitioner here for this one? Or is there a representative? Indy Lalek?
Commissioner,
yes.
My name is Sam Ocasio.
Yep.
If you are inquiring in regard to 238 Pine Street, am I correct? I didn't hear you very well.
No, this is 92 Furglade.
Pardon me. I think I jumped ahead of it.
Pine Street's next.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Is there no one here for the 92 Furglade?
Commissioner Walsh, I'm not sure if they're not here. This would be the second meeting that no one has been available. So I'm not sure if you guys want to.
Yeah, we have to vote. It's an application for certificate of appropriateness, and there's a no-show. Well, we could continue one more meeting if we wanted to. Wait a minute, this is, I see.
The other issue is that we would need to hold 2 meetings because it's still under the new category. So they would have to put in, they would have to put in an extension, but I'm not.
Okay, so we should just take a vote. They can refile?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, entertain a motion to accept the application for certificate of appropriateness at 92 Ferry Lake to repair and rebuild the front porch and to make it an open as it was originally.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, so Commissioner Nardi,
No.
Commissioner Walsh is no, Commissioner Walter Kroll,
No.
Commissioner Judith Kroll.
No.
Okay. Okay. Okay, there were now 238 Pine Street. This is an application for certificate of appropriateness for repair of front and rear entryway porch, including handrails and accents, repair crown molding near the roof where the pests have burrowed in, replace chimney flashing as needed, an area where it's not present or loose, replacement of 46 windows. See attached memo. Okay, tell us about your project.
So I'm Will Brock again from the City of Springfield Disaster Recovery Office. This is another Healthy Homes project for Mr. Samuel Acasio, who is also present on the call with me. Commissioners, we're proposing to replace all windows. There is a little discrepancy with this one on windows as well, where my count was 55 in terms of the amount of windows. So we are proposing to replace all windows, and any work that we do is proposed to use the same materials that were present in the original historic construction. The 3 balusters present on the right-hand side porch, that's the second level porch, need to be replaced as they're deteriorating. There's a hole, as you can see, per the picture that I supplied in the front-hand side of the crown molding. So our proposal is to remove 6 feet on either side of that crown molding and replace it with the same material. We are also proposing to repair the front porch, which is very deteriorated, with pressure treated wood, and to repaint to match the color. There's also a electrical outlet present on that front porch that is very corroded and deteriorated. So we're proposing to replace that as well, which I've supplied an example for what our proposal is for that.
Okay.
As well as sand and repaint the cast iron handrails in the front. So we remove them, sandblast them, and repaint those. And we also would be repairing the rear deck and installing a new storm door on that rear deck, as there isn't one. And in order for it to be up to code, we would need to have a storm door present. So that the back entryway deck that I'm referring to is not visible from Walnut Street, but it is visible from as you're coming down. Or I'm sorry, it's not visible from Pine Street, but it is visible from the side street as you're coming down it.
Okay, is the pressure treated appropriate for the deck of the?
The current material that's on the deck is pressure treated and painted wood. So we're proposing to match that same material that is currently present there. In the historic pictures, it actually used to be an enclosed porch, which it is not any longer.
Okay. That's what I'm looking for. It's got to be here. And the windows are exterior grids and what have you.
Yeah. So that was kind of another thing that was in question. I took the count of the windows as they are at the moment. So there's 18 6/1 windows and 37 1/1 windows, but it looked like in the historic pictures that they were a lot of 2/2, that the entire house was 2/2. So that is obviously a possibility with the proposed windows, would be to supply that grid pattern.
Okay. And what was the historical color of the windows?
That I could not ascertain from the picture that I have.
I don't think I have a historic. I'm going, oh, there we go. Now that answers it quickly. That's what I was looking for in my packet here. I just don't, it must be here. Of course, it's right there, right, the last piece of paper I look at. It's always the last one.
Page 3.
Uh-huh.
Page 3 in the packet.
Yeah, it was. And of course, I thought, I'm looking back where all the other pictures are. Because this is a better view on the screen anyways. And clearly they're 2/2s and they're dark in color. Okay. Were you considering dark in color?
Yes.
Okay. But not, you don't want to kind of restore the porches to a historic, more historically correct material by any chance?
You know, it's, so when we wrote this scope of work, we actually didn't know that it was a historic property. So that's why it was kind of written up as pressure treated wood. If the pressure treated wood is unacceptable to the commission, then we would obviously entertain a change in materials.
Okay, well, that would be good because pressure treated wood would probably be inappropriate in its visibility there. Yeah, that does look awful. What, they put plywood down or something and just?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The steps are stone, but the actual decking itself is.
Yeah. Well, those one of the pictures I'm looking at here, but it has kind of like a brick little facade next to the front porch, and the bricks. That's not a historic step at all either. But you're not replacing that, right?
No, we wouldn't be touching the step.
Okay. And then on the back one, I mean, part of it is it just that the one that's so visible from the street, there may be other between either a lattice or something that's more appropriate for the age. It shouldn't be terribly different. I mean, the railings look like they're. Okay. But if you could consider that the porches be slightly at least look into the type of material and what it would look like. That this historic picture is kind of interesting because you can't quite see through some of the bushes there exactly how those handrails and stuff were, but a more historically accurate step in porch look would be, I think, would be appreciated at the very least by the historic neighborhood and the commission as well.
The one thing we can't do in this program is we can't build existing structures. So like I would have to kind of entertain, obviously changing the material that we would be using for the decking, but I don't know if we'd be able to rebuild that whole enclosure.
No, I didn't mean that, and I understand that. You can't add and start going outside of the scope of what you're supposed to do. I'm just thinking that what you're going to rebuild there anyway on the side of that step, unless we weren't thinking of replacing that kind of fake brick.
No, so we wouldn't be touching the brick or the actual foundation of the structure. We would be repairing the treads for the.
Yeah. I just didn't. That brick looks like it's a fake brick facade, but it's not. It's a solid brick.
I'm not sure. Oh, of course, Sam just popped off.
Either way, if you're not changing it, then it really doesn't fall here anyways. Yeah. Well, I would love to see a few of those details in the design and material. That would be awesome. Anything else you want to add?
There is, because part of the Healthy Homes program is lead abatement, and Samuel has a young child in the house, so we're trying to put a priority on this project. I would just appreciate kind of guidance in terms of if we needed to change something, just letting me know what I need to look into before the next meeting.
Okay, that's the only thing that stuck out at me. I mean, that your windows are appropriate color exterior grids, and they do I believe, I'll look into it a little more, but I believe they fit the guidelines for the replacement, because you're used to doing this.
Yep, at this point, yes.
Yeah, and, you know, the only thing that jumped out at me was when you said pressure treated, because normally in a steps, it's not allowed. And I don't know that would be that much more expensive to do it with a more appropriate wood, but nothing else. Unless some other commissioner saw something that I didn't. You're not replacing handrails, right?
Nope, yeah, we will be taking those exact handrails and sandblasting them and then repainting them.
Well, that's what I mean, but you're not changing them out, so.
No, yeah, we
Then
just.
it is what it is. They're already there, then they're certainly allowed to maintain them. Okay, if there's nothing else to add, I'd entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of appropriateness at 238 Pine Street to the December 16th meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Al Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Vinnie Walsh is a yes. Okay.
Thank you so much for your time,
Couple
Commissioner.
weeks.
Appreciate it. Yep.
Thank you very much. 120 Harvard. This is an application for certificate of hardship to change the windows, top part, with one with no grids. The color of the new windows will be dark maroon. There are 40 windows in total that are involved. It would need time, as I talk to the window supplier, to 14 weeks. Okay. Okay, Charles, are you with us here? Oh, there you are. If you'd like to unmute yourself and tell us about your project.
This project was there before, we had it before, and I had the grids on the windows, and
Yep.
I had,
yes.
I went around it until I was able to, I went back to the past to where we got them, and they agreed to just make the top part for us, and we can replace that with maroon, and then the rest of the windows we just paint to match the dark maroon.
Okay.
But there will be a bit, but there will be no grids.
And what was there a historic grid pattern? Were they just 1/1s then?
There was 1/1, yes.
Yeah, okay. And what color, I'm looking for through the painting, through the pictures here, what color are they now?
They're white.
They're white now.
Yes.
Alvin, were you gonna say something? Oh, no, I thought I just heard you. I see you're still muted.
The windows were not originally white. The windows that he did put there are white, but I believe he's going to put an exterior color with the new windows.
Right, so it's right now he's saying that the new ones will be maroon, then he's gonna paint the rest to match the maroon picture, the windows.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, let's, okay, so if there's nothing else to add, I'd entertain a motion to accept the application to continue the application for a certificate. Well, let me ask you a question, actually back that up. Is this going to still fall under hardship though? If he's replacing windows of an appropriate color?
If it meets the appropriateness guidelines, you guys can vote it under.
Okay, well, we'll leave it under hardship. We can discuss the appropriateness next time. I mean, I can see why this could fall under hardship anyways. So anyway, I'd entertain a motion to continue the application for certificate of hardship on 120 Harvard Street to the December 16th meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, I'll reverse that order again. Commissioner Walsh is yes. Commissioner Nardi?
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll?
Yes.
and Commissioner Walter.
Yes.
Okay, so that's continued, and we will see you in 2 weeks regarding that application.
Thank you, commissioners.
Hey, thank you, Charles, to allow for public commentary. So now we have, we did get an email from
Commissioner Walsh. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Before you have an email. I'm sorry.
Is who on?
Oh, I thought you said you had an email. I just want to state before we get into the other matters portion, we do have the petitioners for the 120 Clarendon Street. I did explain to them that their matter was denied earlier.
Yeah.
However, they have requested the commission to, if you guys could do a site visit to the property.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I
think we should.
So I think Mr. Gray and Mr. Gaby are on the line. I guess they can make that request.
Okay, I mean, I won't be able to do it for a week. But I'd be happy to go out there, maybe a week from tomorrow.
Mr. Gaby or Mr. Gray, can you answer to that?
That would be fine. Can you hear us?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, that would be fine.
A week from tomorrow?
Sure.
And we'll just check with you a day ahead of time to make sure. And then, worst case, maybe the following, actually, I could probably go on a Saturday as well. So I will have Alvin schedule that and just verify the times sometime next week.
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then again, the petitioner would need, or the property owner would need to reapply.
Right.
To get this on for a future meeting.
Vincent, you can check with me. I can possibly come with you if you like.
Okay, that would be great. We can only have 3, can't have more than 3, so. Okay, can I move on now?
Yes, other matters.
All right, thank you. Section 106 review reconstruction of Sumner Avenue. Alvin did send us an email saying that if we had any other questions, we should forward them. I'm not sure if anybody has any other questions about that. No, I see Judy's like, nope, no way. Anybody else? All right, I guess then that one goes. The former Indian Orchard Fire Station reuse. Oh, that's the other one. So we don't have to, do we have to actually do a vote on this for the X information there?
No, again, they were just accepting comments.
Okay, that's what I thought, just double checking. Anyway, the fire station. What's up?
Hi, my name is Zeta Govan. I'm the president of the Indian Orchard Citizens Council. Hi, everybody. Hi, Walter. Good to see you.
Nice to
And
see you.
Alvin, and everyone. So first of all, I want to thank you all for having me here. This is just basically a question and maybe some direction. We're actually in the process of attaining the Indian Orchard Fire Station, and we want to bring it back to life. And we want to make sure that, of course, it meets the historical guidelines that you guys set forth. I know that there's money from the city for the historical facade of it. And the question that we had is that the only part that's historic that you all want us to keep, or are there other places on the fire station that you want us to maintain?
Well, it's just what's visible from a public way. So anything you can see from the outside is what you need to preserve. And if you were to make a change, any change would have to come before us. It's pretty much that simple.
Okay.
Outside, any historic detail has to be maintained. And if you want to change something, even as little as light fixtures, you have to come and tell us why and what it's going to look like and whether it's historically acceptable. Anything else, Alvin, we should?
Okay, right.
I'm sorry. Sorry to interject. So the property currently does not have a historic designation.
But aren't they gonna add one? Isn't it being added as part of condition of the sale?
So again, I'm not sure if there's a sale or if the city's going to keep the building and just lease it out. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, then that changes everything, doesn't it?
Ms. Govan can clarify that. But nonetheless, I've been asked by my Chief Development Officer, Tim Sheehan, to place a preservation restriction on this structure.
Right.
Regardless of whether it changes hands. So that will be coming before you guys in short time.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's what they've done with the other one. So I was, Zaid, I was speaking as if you were buying it and that restrictions would be placed on it as condition of the sale. But either way, it's they want to preserve it. So whether if the city's keeping it, they still should be maintaining it. And it still would really nice for any plans to come before us so we could, comment on them at the very least.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, we're going to be coming before you probably a lot in the next, I'm going to say year, I guess, because we will be making some improvements to it. And right now there are windows on the front of it that are blocked out. So I don't know if we're supposed to keep those blocked or if we could try to bring them back to the way they used to be. And then also the big, the doors where the fire used to go in, do we have to keep those operating or how would we address those things?
Well, I think,
but again, I guess this might be,
yeah, when you have plans, bring them to us. But I do believe that the, like the one on Sumner Avenue, those aren't functioning doors. They're simply, they're replicated. They don't move. They just made it so that it looks like there's doors there still to the same original design, but they're not functioning. So, but I would expect that you wouldn't use those doors anymore, but they still would have to be part of the, built into the
historic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Okay, great. Well, thank you. I think that was it. That's all I had for now.
You're
I'll
very
be back.
patient. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we have changes in meeting format and relocation of public meetings. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to change with the latest fiasco. So for now, we'll keep doing what we're doing, but
so yeah, I'll just give a little information on that. So in regards to the meeting format, I've been told that the City Council, Springfield City Council, is going to go back to live meetings in January. And so I've been instructed to potentially in February have the Historical Commission go back to live meetings. So again, if we are to do so in February, then my next question was, can we have the meetings here at 70 Tapley Street where I have the means of, doing a dual meeting, whereas we have people come here and then also we can have Zoom capabilities if we need to do a hybrid for folks that, either can't make it due to COVID or due to even if they can't travel here. I think it would be good to have a hybrid at least for temporarily.
Good idea. Well, my opinion, let me voice it again clearly. I would love to have them there, the live meetings there. I think it's just as central to any part of Springfield for people to get to from historic districts. It's closer probably than going downtown for a couple of them. And I think the parking would be easier. Well, not necessarily at 5 o'clock though.
Originally our meetings were at 6:30, but due to the pandemic and going to the Zoom, we moved the meetings from 6:30 to 5. So I'm guessing that we would move, with live meetings to give folks the opportunity to make it from their work or what have you to get to the meetings if we moved it back to 6:30.
Well, I may suggest 6, but either way, I'm looking forward to live meetings and having things happen in one night and be over with, as opposed to every application having to be continued for commentary. I loved tonight's commentary, but let's see, what's next? Anything else we got to add on that?
Well, does any other commissioner have any comments on either timing or location?
Yeah, I agree that 6 PM is a good time. I also agree that that where you're at, Alvin, makes more sense. My only concern is that I'm going to have to iron my pants from now on, but
We
other than
won't.
that-
We won't laugh at you, Al.
Mr. Nardi, you don't have to iron your pants, but you do have to wear pants if you're
I was
coming.
just
Yes,
thinking that.
please.
Anyway.
Please
before
at
we
least
get-
wear the pants.
Yes, that's
All
right.
right.
Before we get too sidetracked here, because that's kind of funny. Oh, we have any updates on the Clarendon Street non-compliance?
Again, before we go to Clarendon Street, I just want to have like some sort of a vote from you guys just stating, because I would have to change the calendar based off of, if you guys want to change the location and the time. So if you guys,
We're talking the first meeting in February or the first
yeah,
meeting?
from the first meeting in February and thereafter.
Okay, so, all right,
So-
someone make a motion? Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we go back to in-person at Tapley Street office location for the first week in February 2022,
At what time?
What, yeah,
What time?
6 PM,
Okay, is there a second on that motion?
Eastern Standard Time.
I second it.
Okay, any discussion on the motion?
Discussion?
Go ahead, Al.
You supply coffee and donuts?
I doubt it.
We have a water bubbler. So.
That's the
Okay.
meeting. That's the meeting. I'll bring my famous macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
They got a big table, so we
Now,
don't.
that's another good reason to have the
No,
meeting.
and I'll go to the Dunkin' and get coffee and donuts for you, Al.
Let me take this
Let me
vote.
check that.
Vote,
Let me check
please.
that.
My office park husband will get the coffee and donuts.
Okay, well, the vote. Vinnie Walsh, Commissioner Walsh votes yes. Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith,
Yes. Commissioner
Walter.
Yes.
Okay, there you go, Alvin. All right, now, do we have any, can I move to the next one, Alvin?
Yes, yeah, nice clarity.
Just busting it. 90 Clarendon Street, do we have any updates on the unapproved installation of 6-foot tall white vinyl fence beyond the foundation of the home?
So this matter was brought up at the last meeting, however, it was not on the agenda, so we couldn't make any formal a decision.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But now that it is on the agenda, and again, I just specified at the last meeting that we've sent several notices to the homeowner. I've chatted with the homeowner. She clearly is not, looking to comply. So at this point, how does the commission want to proceed?
Okay, what happened? So you've had conversations, but they haven't received anything else?
I've sent several notices. I believe even Attorney Shuchuk has sent notices. I've spoken with the property owner. So she clearly understands that she's in violation, but she does not care to remedy the situation.
Okay.
So therefore,
What do we usually do?
I believe she has a history too. Is the same address or is that the next one?
no, this address, the commission has ordered her or gone to court to order her to take down a fence.
Yeah.
This would be the third court matter. They also required her to take down a Quonset hut.
Yeah.
Well, let's have fun. Let's do this again.
Sounds good.
In the Dartmouth Terrace one, that's the one that's.
So going back to 90 Clarendon Street, is it the commission's favor to send it to, I guess,
District Court, I believe it is, or Superior one, whatever one it is.
Sure,
I'm not
it
positive,
is.
but yeah, court.
Because there has to be some, if they just say they just don't cooperate at all and it goes away, then what are we accomplishing?
Yeah.
So I would need a vote of the commission.
You would?
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a motion? Anybody?
Sure, I make a motion that we move this matter to be filed in whatever appropriate court for 90 Clarendon Street for non-compliance for fence.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Walsh votes yes. Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll.
Yes,
I did that on purpose.
that's all good. I think
Sorry,
we
you were supposed to go
recognize
first.
the-
It was supposed to be ladies
No,
first.
No,
no,
I just
Sorry.
I did that just to
All right,
see
good.
who would answer me first.
We recognize the inflection of Kroll. We know that.
I slipped once tonight, if you probably noticed. On 121 Dartmouth, okay, oh, there's that one, that wonderful one.
That's 90 Clarendon.
That's
Yeah.
90, yeah.
Yeah,
That's 90 Clarendon. You can see it from St. David.
Okay, and on 121 Dartmouth, whereabouts are we on that, Attorney Chuck?
No response.
Okay.
So we can just package them both into court if
Yeah,
you
well,
want.
I think we had already, didn't we already vote on court sending the 121 Dartmouth to court, or no?
I
Or
thought it
just
was
to
like
send
send them a
another
letter, and then if not, then,
Okay.
yeah, so.
All right, well, I entertain another motion for 121 Dartmouth Terrace.
I would make a motion that we send 121 Dartmouth Terrace to the appropriate court for the unapproved replacement of garage doors, differential windows, orientation of the side door steps.
Okay, second. Second.
I second.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All right, Commissioner Nardi,
Yes.
Commissioner Judith Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Walter Kroll,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh, yes. Okay. All right. That takes care of all the business on the agenda. We still have one person on. Is David here for a reason?
Likes us.
David?
I have no business to put before the commission.
Okay.
Very good.
Well, then you know what my next motion is. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We don't have to record that one. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Judith.
Have a good night.
Good to see you, Al. We'll talk
Good
next
night.
Friday, a
Thanks,
week from
everybody.
tomorrow, okay?
Roger.